do we want? Justice. What do we want? What do we want?
I've never seen a judge in the aftermath of a trial decide to go public and, basically make a statement that made it out that everything went well, everything was done right. You don't have that authority. You don't have that. That's not within your purview. And so for me, that was shocking. As a layperson, I am not an attorney, but that was shocking that he would do that and basically pat himself on the back, pat Collin County on the back. You can't do that, especially when, again, there's the hope for a motion for, an appeal. And so I think that he jumped the gun and, that made us question if we could have a fair trial.
So we have good news in the Karmelo Anthony's case. We know that since his conviction, June 9, 2026, where he was sentenced to 35 years for the unalive of Austin Metcalf on was it April the 2nd, 2025, at a track meet in Frisco, Texas. We all remember it exploded all over the country. It went national and international. You had W's on this side that wanted him to do forever in jail. They said that he was a vicious, violent person, right? Then you had us on this side saying, no, we just want a fair trial. We could see the videos. We believe that he was bullied. There was a lot of things that was left out in this case. We found out that the lawyer that he had made backdoor deals with the DA, right, on certain things that wasn't going to be talked about, that needed to be talked about in order to paint these boys in a light that, man, this whole case was just a dog and pony show. It was crazy, man, and everybody knew it. So now they was fighting to get this judge recused because after the verdict, he start going on a press tour, telling everybody how he felt about the case. Remember, he was the judge, and it would show that he had a preconceived notion already. I told you, let me stay calm because we don't deal with the emotions, right? We don't deal with the emotions. So you had pastors and former powerful black people down there in Texas that was already questioning the credibility of this judge. And they was going to the media to call this stuff out. So then they brought in a dream team, right, down there in Texas to go in and uncover some things, right? And this is what they was trying to get done.
Are arguing to remove the original judge from his case, claiming he cannot be impartial after giving an interview defending the verdict reached with no black jurors. Anthony's team also argues public access restrictions violated his civil rights. He has spent the past 2 months serving his 35-year prison sentence after being found guilty of Austin Metcalf during a Texas track meet last year. Anthony claims he acted in self-defense. Tomorrow, the judge who remains or is appointed to the case will rule on his motion for a new trial.
So we already know that he was going to be found guilty down there in Texas, in that county where those people were from. Now, there was all kinds of rumors that the father, Jeff Metcalf, allegedly knew the judge, and we found out that that wasn't true, and the DA. But we remember Jeff Metcalf went on his racist tirade, right? Calling him all kinds of names, saying a whole bunch of stuff, right? Now, I showed video of boys that was locked up for maybe similar cases where one received probation, none of them received more than 12 years, right? None of them received more than 12 years. Even the case in Allison case where there was a fist fight and there was a 24 hours in between where he went into the bathroom with a weapon and used that weapon as an instrument of crime to unalive somebody. He only got 10 years, and now he's appealing to 10 years. But yet and still, when it came to the one black boy, he ended up getting 35 years. And the judge went on a press tour, and it was unethical, very unethical for a judge. You are not an attorney. You are a judge. You have to be in the middle, right? So the team, they saw that and they went after it, right? So now Fox News is very upset. They're incensed. They're livid. They're upset. They're reluctantly reporting this.
A major decision in the case of convicted murderer Karmelo Anthony and his fight to get a new trial. A judge today ruled in favor of a defense motion to recuse the trial judge, John Roach Jr., from overseeing the appeals process. The defense accused Judge Roach of not being impartial during Karmelo Anthony's trial. They point to an interview in which Roach said he believed the trial was fair despite having no black jurors and agreed the jury reached the correct verdict. Anthony was convicted of Austin Metcalf by him with a pocket knife during a track meet in April of last year. And the jury did have 2 Asian members and 1 of Native American descent as well on there. So when you talk about was there diversity, yes, there was. But this issue, Josh, with the judge being, forced to say he'd recuse himself by another judge, what does this mean?
I think it's the right decision. Now, in no way does that mean that the judge who presided over the trial was unfair or made a wrong decision or somehow the racial makeup of the jury was biased and not favorable toward Karmelo Anthony. But much of the defense argument in this attempt to gain an appeal has been about the judge. And so you can understand how it would be difficult from an optics perspective to have that same judge making decisions, essentially reviewing himself, making decisions about whether or not his prior decisions were fair or not. I wouldn't read too much into this as far as this being somehow favorable to Karmelo Anthony. I think it's just the right decision to make sure that everything moving forward is treated in a proper way, and there can be no accusations later on down the line that that judge, that trial judge, was simply backing his own prior decision.
So then we get here. Texas judge who presided over Karmelo Anthony's unenlivened trial removed from the case over got it right comments. Attorney Russell Wilson II argues Judge Roach's post-verdict comments created an appearance of bias against his client, right? A Texas judge granted Karmelo Anthony's request Wednesday to remove the judge who presided over his unenlivened trial from the post-trial case, finding that a reasonable outside observer could question whether the judge appeared impartial. Judge John Roach, who presided over Anthony's June murder trial, unenlivened trial, was removed after Anthony's attorney played Roach post-trial WFAA interview in court and argued his remarks show he had already prejudged the defense request for a new trial. Harley said Wednesday, "We did not know Roach and described recusal as a high bar." He said he did not find that Roach violated judicial conduct rules and believed Roach could be fair, right? But Harley said the question was not whether Roach could be fair. He found that a third party looking at Roach's public comments could question the judge's impartiality and granted the recusal motion. The recusal hearing started around 9 a.m. Wednesday. Court records identified Judge Sid Harley as the presiding judge. Look at them clothes they put on that boy, man. Anthony attended Wednesday's hearing after a bench warrant had been issued in the case, right? Man. He was convicted in June of unenlivened 17-year-old Austin Metcalf, who prosecutors said he was fatally injured during an altercation at a Frisco track meet. A Collin County jury sentenced Anthony to 35 years in prison. Wilson lead attorney legal team, which filed 2 motions on July 7th, one to recuse Roach and the other seeking a new trial. The new trial hearing is scheduled for 9 a.m. Thursday. Oh, man. The defense argues Roach cannot fairly rule on the post-trial motion because of remarks he made to reporters after the verdict, right? The filing cites comments in which Roach said the jury got it right and defended several trial rulings, including his handling of court access and the dismissal of 3 black prospective jurors. Man, this is crazy. Anthony's attorneys contend those comments had created the appearance that Roach prejudged the defense claims. The filing does not directly challenge Anthony's guilt or innocence. Instead, it alleges constitutional and legal errors that the defense says deprived him of a fair trial. The motion argues Anthony's trial was not open to the public, cameras were barred from the courtroom, and only 27 seats were available for members of the public. Anthony's lawyers also accused prosecutors of breaking an off-the-record agreement. Here we go. About character evidence and other alleged acts unrelated to the unenlivened charge. They argued the dispute forced Anthony to decide whether to testify while risking the introduction of evidence that could say that evidence they say could unfairly prejudice jurors. Man, this is crazy, man. This whole thing is insane. The defense also challenges the jury instructions, arguing they limited jurors' ability to fully consider Anthony's claim of self-defense. Roach referred the recusal request to another judge under Texas procedure. Wednesday's ruling means another judge will handle Anthony's remaining trial court proceedings, including his request for a new trial. So this whole thing is what we thought it was, right? Now, this is the thing, what I'm inclined to believe, because they found that he did some unethical things, right? And they had a backdoor deal with the DA, 90% more than likely he's going to get a new trial. I don't know what the outcome would be, but I'm seeing that he will receive a new trial because they wasn't able to properly present a self-defense claim because of the backdoor deal that his lawyer made with the district attorney, right? That we read about a month ago. We talked about that, right? And then the judge already had a preconceived notion. So he didn't have a fair trial from the start. And he said that he didn't want social media to sway the minds of the jurors, but he already went with this one side that social media was, and that was those radicals on the right. Y'all remember when they appointed that black judge at first, right? And she gave him that bell. Y'all know what they was doing. So he was on their side from the start. He wasn't in the middle. Y'all gotta let me know what y'all think about this, man. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, and leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.